I don't know who needs to hear this, but you'll never be like them. You won't look like them, you won't talk like them, you won't move like them, and you won't have the same journey as them. But that's the point. You weren't made to be a copy, you were made to be better. So, for the first thing that I want to talk about is that everyone's path is different, and that's the reason why you should never, want to compare yourself because we're all on a different path. Especially if you're all Christian, God puts us in different, parts in our life to do different things. God allows us to meet different people at a certain time. He allows us to go through certain events, go through certain, not gonna say trauma, but go through certain tribulations for specific reasons. We all have a different journey. We've all come from different families, different backgrounds, different social economic status. Like we are all completely different. So our paths will never be the same. And then two, I want to talk about how like whatever works for them works. Like I will do, for example, like my vlogging and my YouTube. I know there's some people that we all go to school together, we all record. There's some people who do shorter content or Instagram, TikTok, or even shorter YouTube videos, and that's what works for them. But I feel like what works for me is long form, longer videos. So it's stuff like that. Like we have two different strategies. Some of my friends we post way completely different content, so I'm like, okay, my growth might be a little better than theirs, or their growth might be a little different than mine. You know what I mean? But you should never ever compare yourself, because I just feel like when we compare ourselves, it's like we just kind of, it's like we just strip ourselves of what we can become. And therefore everyone's path is different. We're all going to achieve something at different times, and just because we're going to be at different places in our life doesn't mean that we're failing or we're behind. We're just literally at different places. One of my friends might hit 1K subscribers before I do. Congratulations. It's not, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong me hitting it a month after, a year after, 2 weeks after. Like we are all on different paths. We just, like, what I mean? We just need to direct our focus from trying to be like everybody else and hit the same goals at the same time, and just put that same focus, onto our goals, onto what we're doing, and to make that better to where, we could be better than them, or, we could just be better than everybody else. But yeah, that's what I want to say by, everyone's path is different. I always mention this part, but I feel like you can never say this enough. But social media, it feeds comparison. And I definitely know that about, like, I feel like specifically on TikTok, like TikTok will push, the over glamorizations of everything, the nice edits, the aesthetic. Like I've realized like some people, even when they be giving advice out or tips and stuff, it's like they really don't even be talking about nothing, but it be because the aesthetic and all the clicks, the sound effects, like you think they doing better than you, or their advice is better than you, or you need to even listen to their advice. You know what I mean? So like social media, like just don't compare. Like I said, don't compare, what you're doing to someone else, because I can speak from, a YouTube standpoint, since I definitely sometimes compare myself. I just think, somebody might have been doing YouTube longer than I have. Of course they're going to be ahead. Or if someone just started, well, maybe, that is what might be working for them. Maybe TikTok is their thing, YouTube is mine. You know what I mean? It's just, but that's the thing. If we're trying to always watch their views and their comments, their subscribers, it's like we almost take away, what we earn. You know what I mean? Me trying to compare to someone at school that might have, better likes than me, better comments, subscribers, it almost takes away from y'all. You know what I mean? Me being like, well, I wish my channel looked like theirs and stuff. It's like, it's taking away my effort, my grind, my discipline that I just been putting into this, or just, everything I've just put into this. Me comparing to someone else online, regardless if I know them or not, it literally strips it from y'all and it strips it from me. And that's just not fair on both sides. And then another part that I want to say is that, like I said, yeah, it shows the perfect parts, and it allows you not to be able to, fully be yourself. If you're always comparing yourself to someone on social media, you might not be able to be as relatable no more. You might not be able to, show that personal side of you, because you're like, well, I want to do my content like that person. I want to do my content like this person. You know what I mean? Like, just do it yourself. Social media will definitely, I've learned that a long time ago. Social media will definitely have you doing whatnots. You know what I mean? Even to think about, negative comments and stuff, they'll have you thinking this way, think of that way. So don't compare your journey or wherever you up to on social media, because Like on social media, you're always going to see the perfectionist. Say if it's school, you're always going to see the good grades, but you're not going to see them studying. You're not going to see when they were depressed. You're not going to see them how upset they were when they got a bad grade, did bad on the test. Like you never see the ugly or like the rawness or like the true reality on social media. You only see the perfectness. And that's why you should never compare to what you're going through to social media. And so for the third thing that I want to talk about is that comparison kills progress. And I kind of mentioned this in one of the other points, but like it is so draining always trying to have your content or just whatever you're doing, you're grinding your goals to look like someone else's, because it's like you're not that person. It's like you're almost like you're impersonating yourself to be them. Like don't do that. Be unique. Be yourself. Think outside the box. I think about for example, like Kai said at the Stream University, the main reason why people liked it so much because it was something new, it was something refreshing, it was something different. If he would have did the same streams or invited the same guest on his stream or something, nobody probably would have watched it. I mean, it probably would have been some, but I feel like people wouldn't have as enjoyed it as much. Therefore, like I said, but at the same time, it's like we only see the Stream University clips on TikTok, the funny moments. We don't know, how long did it take him to do that? How long did it take him to get this and that approved? You know what I mean? Like I said, we don't see that through the social media, but trying to compare yourself to someone like him where he's been grinding, been doing this, he's been doing that. Like I said, it just strips stuff away from you, even distraction. The amount I've learned that about me too. Like I said, I'm gonna be honest, I do be doing that. But it's like you waste so much energy being jealous, being envious. That same energy, that same time you was being jealous or envious of somebody else, you could have put that back into whatever you was doing. And it's like you probably could have be where they're at if you wasn't so envy, you wasn't so jealous. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, it's just stuff like that, like you wondering and trying to be like the next person. All that's doing is wasting time. Because at the end of the day, you sit there, you be like, yeah, they don't deserve it, I deserve it. Does that help your channel get more views? Does that help you blow up? Say you got a business, is that getting you more sales? Hating on the next person? No. So it's like you might as well just spend all that time back into yourself. And then, like I said, it just stops you from being unique. If all the thing you're like, okay, well, I want to try this, but oh, they didn't do it this way, or I want to post that, but they don't post like this, or I want to film a certain vlog like that way, but they don't film their vlogs. You know what I mean? It's like you're literally impersonating to be someone because of comparison. Like, don't let comparison stop you of your goals. Be who you are. Be unique. Like, I feel like that's what we need nowadays with content is more uniqueness, more personality. Like some people always want to be like the next person. Like we have enough Kais and Nats. We have enough, we just have enough Kais and Nats in the world. Like we got someone has to be something new, refreshing, different. And so that's what I would just say for number 3. Every time I do these videos, I be trying to have the points different, but this point is literally the same as the next point, the last point. But it was you're meant to be different, and that's what I was saying about creating your own narrative. Finding your own voice, being your own individual self. I feel like that is what's really going to sell. Even when I've watched all these little advice videos, how to blow up on YouTube, this is that. But then when I think of some people like they might not have even done those strategies, but it was just they were being themselves. Like some people on the internet will just be talking and not be doing no special effects on nothing, and you'll read the comments and people literally be like they love that person because they're so relatable. They love that person because they talk about so many relatable topics or they're going through the same thing. So just being like transparent, connecting with your audience, like that is what's going to sell the most. So it's like you got to be different. I literally just saw a clip yesterday on TikTok. Some girl was like, "You got to come on here and look a mess sometimes. You got to come on here and share your business. Like you got to be real. You know what I mean? You got to be real. You got to be raw. There's no way you're ever going to connect. If you're having a business, there's no way people are going to invest in you if you know what I mean? It's like how if you don't believe in yourself, how you think other people are gonna believe in you? You know what I mean? If you got a business and stuff, how do you think people are going to buy your product and invest in you if you're not even investing in yourself? You know what I mean? Like we got to be different. Once again, if you're selling something, people are probably going to buy that product. They're going to like that product because it's different. They're like, oh, this is new. I've never seen this before. Now they want it. It's the same thing about your YouTube and stuff. Yeah, you might do the same vlogs as everybody else, but do your personality, have your own jokes, like draw people into yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can learn all this stuff about the algorithm and all this stuff, but it's like, we have to be able to learn and invest in ourselves. So not only can we be better than ourselves, but we could be better than the next person. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, jealousy and envy, it ain't gonna get you nowhere in this world. I learned that a long time ago. Like I said, hating on the next person ain't gonna do you nothing. You gotta be different. Then going back to, like I said, about comparison and stuff, um, you not being different, it shrinks yourself into like a box, because now you're like, well, I can't talk this way, I can't be this way, I can't dress this way. It's like you're literally in a box. But if you're able to break out of your shell, do whatever you want, stop trying to limit yourself to these unknown limits, you can, do whatever you want. You can expand. You could try this. You could try to film this way, edit this way. Like, if everyone's, you know, I've if everyone's trying to be the same or all the same person, there will never be no spark. There will never be no other Kai Cenat. If we're all Kai Cenats, then there'll never be a Kai Cenat. You know what I mean? It's like we're all going to be the exact same person. There never will be just you. And so, and yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah, creating your own narrative, being unique, and just trying to prepare yourself to be bigger than yourself. Like I said, if we're always going to try to dim ourselves down, what do you think is going to happen? People, if you're always going to look at yourself as little and beneath, that's how everybody else is going to look at you. And so that's what I want to say for number 4. And so this point also sounds like the last point, but it was to compete with yourself and not them. And that's what I was kind of mentioning before with the whole like jealous and envy thing, because it's like you could literally be hating, preying on someone's downfall, and it's like you realize they're blowing up and you're still where you at. Once again, like I said, wasted time. Like, I even thought about that even when I used to run track. I used to be like, well, I deserve to be faster than this person, that person. It's like that same thought process I could have been putting in learning how to run faster, or, jump faster, get stronger, have a better start. Like, me literally focusing on someone else and degrading them, that's not making me better. That's making no one better. So that's what I'm saying. Like, being jealous and envy, it's only it only will fill your void temporarily, because yeah, you're like, yeah, I do deserve it. Yeah, this, yeah, that. And then once you step out of that, you're like, wait, I'm still slow. You know what I mean? It's like that. You got a business, something, you like, oh, I'm still not making no sales. Because it's just like all that time you just wasted. Same thing. I could be like, yeah, that person don't deserve them subscribers. That person don't deserve them views. My views still low. Did that help me get more subscribers? You know what I mean? It's just like you just wasted all that time, the 30, 40 minutes you hating on the next person, comparing them. You could have been in your analytics making a video. You could have been filming. We filming. You could have been scripting, planning. You could have been planning out some content, doing something. You know what I mean? Just stop hating on the next person. Worry about yourself. I learned this also. Every single day when you wake up, it is you versus you. This is your life. This ain't nobody else's life but yours. So you just got to keep going. You got to be as best as you can for you and for the next man, okay? Y'all in competition with yourself and the other person. But at the same time, competition is supposed to be healthy. You saying someone don't deserve nothing, well, why do you deserve it? Are you putting in the work? How much work are you putting in? Are you putting more work than they are? You know what I mean? Like I said, we just go on social media, we just see the number of views, but what are they doing? How many times they posting? How consistent are they? So we be quick to degrade somebody, but then we list everything down from them to us. Will be the truth. And then I also wanted to say to make sure that we focus on the small wins. I repeat this in so many videos, but like you hitting just a little subscriber goal is better than what you were doing previously. You hitting a little business goal is what it was better than what you did previously. Say for me, this year was my first year. I think I said it on the vlog of like I haven't had to retake no classes, and I just haven't had no bad grades, no failing classes. Like this is my first semester of A's and B's. Like, yes, some people been have A's and B's. Some people got 6.0s, 8.0s. You know what I mean? This is my first year in doing that. And it's like, that's the progress. Now, because of, the great schoolwork and the studying, the strategies I found for this semester, I can now put in my senior semester. But imagine if I was just like, oh yeah, my friend got better grades than me. It's just like, dang, all that work you put in from August to May, it's like you just don't even see it. And then my last point was just like I said, being bitter will never get you nowhere. You know what I mean? Even in a Christianity standpoint, God would want us to lift up the other person to kind of show us that we are ready. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, how are you going to continue to pray for something, want God to bless you for something, and then you're literally being jealous, envy, and destroying other people? How do you think that? What do you think that looks like to him? All he thinking is, oh, you probably ain't ready. All you doing is taking down the next person, saying you don't deserve it, you being mean, you being bitter, you being jealous, you being envy. Is that really showing to God that you're deserving of it? Is that showing God that you're ready for it? So, but yeah, just make sure you keep that thought. And that is what I want to say for number 5. And so, yeah, those are all the points that I want to talk about today. Hopefully, it made sense. I write the stuff down in my like notebook here. I write it down, and then I'll go through like ChatGPT to give me some ideas. But I try to make it like not as scripted, because I'm like, say if you were, I'm talking to a camera. It's like if you're here in real life, when you talk, you have a normal conversation with somebody. It's not scripted. It'd be off the dome. So I just kind of, hopefully the stuff makes sense. I know I might be talking fast, but I just hope anybody who watched this video, I hope you took something from this. And this is one big thing. I always try to make a video about something, I'm struggling with or trying to get better at or have gotten better at. And I definitely compare myself when it comes to social media and YouTube. But we just got to pray. We just got to keep grinding, man. At the end of the day, all you got to do is work. You know what I mean? Me hating on the next person, saying someone isn't worthy of it. Me hating on the friend. Is that giving me more subscribers? Is that giving me more views? Is that giving me better traction? Are my analytics getting better from that? No. You really are going with a wall. You know what I mean? You are going with somebody that ain't there. You hating on somebody that ain't there. You're hating on just space in the air. You know what I mean? So continue to put all that work in, stay motivated, continue to grind. If you got a vision board or your goals, relook at them, reevaluate yourself. It is only June, but we just got to December. Okay, we need to hit them goals by December. It's okay if they're taking a little long, because it's the same as me. I want to have 1K by the end of the summer. Well, I want 1K by the end of the year and then 600 by the end of the summer. So, but we just gotta keep grinding, keep posting. But twin, whoever locked in, twin, gang, girl, miss, ma'am, y'all gotta stay locked there. We got this. Continue to push. Continue to reach your goals, but don't make your journey harder than it has to be by being jealous, by being envy, by comparing yourself, by being me, by being bitter, by taking other people down. Because if you are a Christian, God don't want us to do that, and you don't need to do that either. So that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Continue to let me know down below what other topics you guys want me to talk about. I know a lot of people don't usually watch all these videos, but this is my advice for anyone out there who needs it. And yeah, enough yapping. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, road to 600 subs, and I'm gonna see you on the next video.